So we're finally done with this repipe. And one thing about me, I'm not a TikToker trying to be a plumber. I'm a plumber that does TikToks. So what I'm trying to say by that is I don't really I've been trying to make videos about repipes for the longest. And I have about like 10 videos I need to make and 10 ideas that I'm like I'm gonna go home and edit. But I work so much when I get home, I gotta do bids, I gotta do a bunch of stuff. So I never have time to do TikToks. So basically I just record it and not edit these things. So you'll get to see me brain fart because I'm not gonna waste my time, or else I won't even do them, because I had like 7 TikToks or 10 TikToks that I recorded and I'm like I'll edit them, and honestly I don't know how to edit. Like I said, I'm a plumber that does TikToks, not a TikToker trying to be a plumber. So we're basically done. We doing a little walkthrough through the job. We're done. And like I said, the guy didn't believe us. The neighbor was like, "You're not gonna finish in one day." And I said, "Nope, we'll finish in 2 days." So we literally repiped this whole house in 2 days. And it's one of those things. Maybe we could have done it in one. If not really. Even if I had one more guy, one thing I noticed that my guys are commercial guys, and one thing I noticed, they were fighting over one tool, and it's called a multi-tool. And I understand why, because I came from commercial plumbing. I never owned a multi-tool until I started doing residential. So I could do commercial jobs. There's only one big problem why I don't do commercial jobs, because I don't have $200,000 in my bank account. I wish I did. But you see, everything's repiped. Obviously, this is the roof, so we fed everything from the bottom and then repiped everything. Everything is brand new angle stops. The only thing that hasn't been changed, like the supply lines and some faucets, because they're gonna remodel this either way. But all the angle stops have been changed. And I'm doing my final walk, just checking everything, make sure nothing's leaking. And this was where most of the work was. It was in the garage, because like I said, we have a shower, a bathtub, 2 labs, and a toilet. So in the garage area was where most of the work was done, and that's where everyone was working. Yesterday we didn't connect the kitchen, or we didn't connect the lab, but we got all this operational because the garage, I just wanted to have that area with water so they could use it at least. But yeah, today we're 100% complete. I'll tell you this, I have over 100 man hours in this job. And one thing, when I was trying to find out, I always would ask, like, how do you bid? I would look up YouTube videos. I was trying to find out videos on how to bid jobs. And there's no really ways to bid a job unless trial and error, Because, like I said, I have over 100 man hours in this job, even though it's 2 days. Every guy is, like yesterday, we probably worked 10 hours, or probably 11. So you times 11 times 7, or 11 times 8, you get 77 or 88 hours. Plus today, like I said, I'm not going to give you exact hours, but let's make it simple. 100, and let's say you were paying a guy $25 an hour, but no one in California, no journeyman is going to work in California for $25 an hour. But 100 times 25, that's 2,500. So right there with 100 man hours, it took you 100 hours to complete the job at $25 an hour, you would get $2,500 as your man hours. And that's how you get labor. And then material, like I said, you would have to find out. And it's one of those things with trial and error that you'll figure out how to do these jobs and how to bid them. And one thing we're getting super good at is the more you do something, the better you get at it. And then you get a system down. And like I said, one thing we're struggling in, and I noticed, was we did not have enough multi-tools. And the one is one of those things where Mike Candy's, I love watching Mike Candy's videos, and he talks about growth. growth sucks money. So the more you grow, the more money. You think right now I'm profitable, but the more I grow, right now I have to buy like 4 or 5 multi-tools because every guy needs to have their multi-tool. Because they're trying to use the Sawzall, and sometimes there's wires literally on the drywall, so you can feel it when you're about to hit a wire with the multi-tool. But when the Sawzall, they were using the Sawzall, I'm like, don't use the Sawzall, here's the multi-tool. So now I can't ask these guys to go and buy multi-tools because they do not use multi-tools. In commercial, everything, there's no drywall, everything's accessible. So plumbing is easy when it's new construction. There's no obstacles in the way. But when you're doing repipes, you got to remove the drywall. And the best tool for that is the multi-tool. I love the multi-tool, and I never used it until I joined residential, and I have 2, but like I said, everyone was fighting over those. So now I have to buy 4 or 5 multi-tools. So at $200 a pop, that's $1,000. So the more you grow, the more expenses you have to have, like pro press guns. I mean, you can't ask your guys to bring their own pro press guns. They did bring their own PEX gun, but even that, that's a $500 tools. And every journeyman plumber should have at least a PEX gun, but it's also $500. Pro press is like, no, you're not gonna ask me to bring almost a $3,000 tools, and you're only gonna try to pay me. That's almost a month's salaries for someone. No one's gonna pay their monthly salary just to buy a pro press guns if you work hourly. Even the PEX gun is pushing it. But that's one of those things where you make the more money with your apprentices, teaching them. Like my apprentice could keep up with the journeyman, but he got so good at these. 80% of my work comes from contractors. So, and most, like I said, the reason they don't like to do the plumbing, it's called liability. You make a simple drip, could mess it up. Now they gotta rip it out again. It's like, they just rather not make money on the plumbing, or just take maybe a 5% cut. Maybe a little profit margin off me, but they don't lose money, because if something happens, something leaks, it's on me, and I gotta rip the tile, I gotta fix it. And it's happened before where last 3 weeks ago we put the shower valve in, and it was just a quarter, not even a quarter, probably an eighth, but that was just enough where the trim wouldn't fit, and I literally had to open that wall and put it back in, and just literally put a little block just to extend it a 1/4 inch, and then retape it, put the wall back up. And guess who paid for that? Me. I didn't make money off that job, but it's like mistakes like those that where I'm like, I told my apprentice, don't do that again. You know, that costs money. I mean, it's not like my apprentice will be like, well, don't pay me for messing up. And it's one of those things where why you're so anal about a 1/4 inch, because that a 1/4 inch will mess you up. Luckily it was drywall, and it was the ones that you slap on the plastic ones. If it was tile, oh my god, that would have been a fucking nightmare. Tile, I would probably would have to pay out of pocket to finish that job. But luckily I know guys that could fix it because I'm in the industry. But yeah, that's one of those things that you don't take into account. Growing takes a lot of money, because you need to buy more tools, more pro press guns. You start making money into a certain point. Right now, like I said, these jobs are very profitable for me because we're getting good. But the more I get them, the more it's like, well, now I have to buy this, I gotta buy that, I gotta buy more tools for these guys, I gotta buy more ladders, and ladders are not cheap. They're $150, $200. The more you grow, the more money you gotta invest. You gotta buy a new truck. You know how much a new truck costs? Well, the truck I have right now, brand new, will probably run me $100,000. So that's one of those things. The more you grow, the more money you spend. It's one of those things where you want to have a niche, which right now is repiping, and just do repiping. If we get so good at repiping, like I said, now we have 2 pro press guns. We have this. We're slowly growing, but at the same time, the next repipe job is becoming a little bit more profitable, or at least keeping the same type of profit margin. But like I said, we have over 100 man hours on this job. And I know a lot of you guys would be like, I could do it in 2 days. I could do it by myself. I'm like, dude, I believe that you might be twice as fast as some of my guys, but no way you're 4 times here. So I think you're crazy. But like I said, we have over 100 man hours, and yeah, we completed this whole job in 2 days. And thanks for watching. Like and comment, man.